Kia ora, everyone. My name is Marya Budianta, also known as Marbee, and today I'm presenting on inclusive design and ableism as a contemporary disability issue. This presentation explores how everyday design decisions shape who gets included, who gets excluded, and how ableism continues to influence the built world around us. Here we have a special guest named Barbie. I think you are all familiar with her from the TV commercials growing up. The reason why I used to include toys in this presentation is because kids see themselves in their toys. It's very important to have a variety of toys that represent different races, abilities, and backgrounds. Many everyday products, from toys to household items to digital interfaces, they're all designed with the assumption that the user is non-disabled. This means that disabled people are often excluded from mainstream design or forced to adapt to products that were never built with them in mind. Like there's a book that my lecturer recommended called by Robert McRower, his theory. There is an element of compulsory able-bodiedness. Everybody has to be able. They have to be normal. They have to have hands and feet. They have to be functional. Yes, that's true. And also in the reading list, I read a book by Skuro from 2019. It notes that non-neurotypical children do not have typical behavior and cannot pass for typical. This highlights how design often expects children to fit the product rather than designing products that fit diverse children. So the core issue is this: inclusive design is still treated as optional or extra instead of being the standard. If all dolls look perfect like able-bodied people, then what about those who are disabled? Okay, so why does this issue matter? Yes, why does it matter? This issue matters because exclusion in design affects dignity, independence, and participation. Design shapes who is seen as normal and who is treated as an afterthought. Inclusive design does not just benefit disabled people, it improves usability for everyone. For example, curb cuts. Curb cuts help wheelchair users, but also parents with prams, travelers with luggage, and delivery workers. Research also shows the real world impact. Children with disabilities experience about 9%, like literally 9% fewer play opportunities than non disabled children. This quote is by Alonso Sanchez et al. 2024. That gap is created not just by the children, but also by the environments and the products around them. Ableism is the belief, often unspoken, that non-disabled bodies are default. This shows up in design when products assume there's only one normal way to move, see, hear, or think. Instead of design adapting to disabled people are expected to adapt to design. This reinforces the idea that disability is a personal problem rather than design and accessibility problem. Like, it's your problem that you're disabled. Why don't you have hands? The social model of disability argues that people are disabled by barriers in society, not by their impairments. Inclusive design directly addresses those barriers. A rights-based approach emphasizes that accessibility is not a favor or add-on. It is a human right. Design that excludes disabled people violates that right. So inclusive design is both a practical and ethical responsibility. This is all of this stuff is drawn by AI. I got the permission from the lecturer to do this, especially the Venn diagram. I would have actually wanted to cut circles and do something myself, but I don't really have a lot of time at the moment. So I do hope that this wide space approach, the intersection of disability, gender, and race and class works. Because disability doesn't exist in isolation. People experience disability alongside gender, class, uh, race, age, and migration status. For example, disabled women may face both sexism and ableism. Disabled migrants may face language barriers on top of inaccessible systems. Disabled children may be excluded from play spaces that were designed from them in mind. Like, let's say you're disabled already, and you're a woman, and you're a black woman, and then you're a poor black woman. That already has a complexity of a situation itself. Disabled women, disabled migrants, disabled children face unique barriers. Inclusive design must consider overlapping identities, not to mention sexual orientation. It is still being LGBT is still discriminated everywhere. So inclusive design must consider these overlapping identities. Otherwise, it risks only serving a narrow group of disabled people. So this is the Barbie slide, inclusive Barbie. There's a great example of inclusive design in mainstream products in Mattel's inclusive Barbie line. They included Barbies with wheelchairs, prosthetic limbs, vitiligo, hearing aids. This matters because it normalizes disability for children. It also shows that disability is a part of everyday life, not something special for children. Representation in toys helps children with disabilities to see themselves reflected and helps non-disabled children understand the disability as a normal part of human diversity. I interviewed a 9-year-old boy from Sri Lanka asking his opinion about the Barbie dolls that we were playing. So, what do you think about the doll?
Good.
Good. What do you think about its body?
Good.
Good. So, what's happening with this girl?
Oh, she's disabled, right? He's disabled.
And what do you feel about her?
I'm very sorry about her.
Would you give this to your friend if she also had a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Let's talk about these two Barbie dolls. On the left, we have a white American Barbie who uses a wheelchair. Notice the detail. There is a small support tool beneath her wheelchair to help her navigate. The American Barbie lives in a setting where wheelchair accessibility is common. There are elevators everywhere and the buses are designed to accommodate her wheelchair easily. She's also visually impaired as she wears the glasses. And the right, we have an Asian Barbie with prosthetic leg. Her story is a little different. She and her mother run a small cookie making business, which helps her afford her prosthetic, and she's also a part-time model. In contrast, our Asian Barbie comes from a place where that level of accessibility simply isn't there. Instead, she has to navigate spaces that are set up for wheelchairs or prosthetic users, and she becomes successful in her own way by adapting to her environment. This is a perfect example of intersectionality at work. It shows how disability is experienced differently based on race, socioeconomic background, and the environment around them. And by the way, these two dolls are best friends. Toodles! So many products still assume non-disabled users as a default. People assume that when they sell products, the person buying the product is non-disabled. That's what often happens. And this exclusion impacts dignity, independence, and participation. Ableism and intersectionality shapes how people experience design. Inclusive design benefits everyone and aligns with disability rights and theory. Representation like inclusive Barbie dolls show how design can shift cultural norms. Ultimately, inclusive design is not a luxury. It's essential for creating a world where everyone can participate fully. Sometimes we may have good intention and buy the kid the toy that represents them, but they may not always like it. So this presentation, I don't consider myself politically correct or in any way. I don't consider myself right in every way. Everybody has their own opinions. Some people do not like Barbie. Some people do not believe that Barbie stands up for equality or disability. Everybody has their own opinions, so feel free to call me out. But I am doing this presentation because, well, I have a massive collection of Barbie dolls, and I really love this toy. At the end, it's about consumerism. People want you to buy their products, and I have Disney Princess, I have Dolls of the World, I have all different kinds of disability Barbies. So everyone is actually different. This is just how I'd like to share, and hopefully I conveyed it right. The social model of disability and the disability approach. I do hope that I can advocate for myself too because I also have a mental disability. Thank you so much for watching and hope to see you next time.